Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing great. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about the World Between Worlds and Yoda. Now the World Between Worlds may potentially be one of the most important aspects of Star Wars going forward. As it's been referenced already in the show Star Wars Rebels and hinted at when looking at the Ahsoka TV show poster, we must speculate on not only the nature of the World Between Worlds, but also those who have touched it, entered it, or in some way, shape, or form experienced it. When looking back on Star Wars The Clone Wars TV series, we are introduced to a fresh canon deep dive into the Star Wars mythos, more specifically when George Lucas along with his writing staff employed the idea of the Mortis gods and the planet where they exist. If you recall in this 3-arc episode, Anakin and friends are trapped on the planet and must interact with the gods for various reasons. When the episode arc is completed and our heroes depart the area, what seemed like days, weeks, and maybe even months actually really only took about a few minutes, maybe even seconds, in the real world, as illustrated by the narrative laid before us. Later on in the Clone Wars TV series, Yoda communes with the Wills, an ancient group of cosmic force gods that put Yoda through different trials, ultimately teaching him how to return from the dead in a sort of physical manifestation of Force Ghosts, as we know, to continue to pass on these teachings. Now for the purpose of this video, we'll be speculating and theorizing about Yoda's connection with the World Between Worlds, and talk about the potential roles he plays going forward with this cosmic realm where everything ceases to exist, except the present. There's an interesting dialogue between Yoda and Ahsoka in Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 3 Episode 7 titled The Assassin, and it's here where I got the idea to talk more about Yoda's relationship with the World Between Worlds. Yoda's essentially helping Ahsoka sharpen her Force foresight, and in typical Yoda wisdom and fashion, advises Ahsoka by saying the following.
But remember, always in motion the future is, and many possible futures there are.
Now obviously this occurs canonically before Yoda encounters the Wills or the World Between Worlds, but being that as it is, Yoda's 900 years old, and I think we can speculate that Yoda has been through times where he has come across other anomalies in the Force, cultivating a relationship with the Cosmic Force, and the totality becoming the World Between Worlds. This is referenced as early as 300 years prior in the High Republic comic issue number 1, where the issue explains that Yoda's absence from the comic and early portion of the adventures has a purpose. When Yoda returns to the Starlight Beacon, he explains his current mission stating,
Not finishing on the Starhopper am I. A different path I walk, as the Force leads.
In my opinion, it seems as if Yoda's life, the life of Yoda that we know so far and that's disclosed to us in canon, and that he's actually been through a trial of tests and events, seeing if he was worthy to keep moving up the ranks of the Force. Because as we all know, not all Jedi are destined for this matter, destined to become a sort of prodigy as it relates to the understandings and interactions with the Force. Some are meant to be warriors, others even historians, and some will rise up the ranks to the heights that seem limitless, thus being with the case with Yoda. Now, as verified by Dave Filoni, Yoda does in fact exist in the World Between Worlds. During the Star Wars Rebels series, Ezra speaks with Yoda in the World Between Worlds when Ezra is sort of transported there by way of a vision in the Lothal Temple. And for context, this is not the same episode as the World Between Worlds episode later on. During the scene, Ezra and Yoda are surrounded by different stars as Yoda sits and passes teachings on to a younger Ezra. This is the World Between Worlds, in a place inexplicable to the young Ezra. When we see Ezra and Ahsoka later on in the World Between Worlds in the series, it takes on a different form with portals and lines being drawn. But it's in my theory and belief that the World Between Worlds doesn't necessarily have to be a series of portals. It could simply just be a plane in space and time, perhaps maybe where the Force Ghosts commune for other purposes. I liken the whole concept of the World Between Worlds to the Force. It simply exists. There's a great dialogue from The Last Jedi between Rey and Luke that might shine some perspective on the World Between Worlds and where Yoda plays a role in that plane. Breathe, just breathe. Reach out with your feelings. What do you see? And Rey replies and says, the island, life, death and decay that feeds new life, warmth, cold, peace, violence. Luke responds, and between it all, balance, energy, a force. This teaching of Luke is something that theoretically could have been passed down from Yoda or simply self-realized that the Force is more than the lifting of an object or the crushing of an enemy. It's simply the element that is embedded within everyone and that binds everything together. And while everyone does exist in this plane, I still believe only Force users and trained Force users can harness this life around them in a way that we could all argue is cosmic in nature. So since we've established that Yoda is in fact not only one with the cosmic Force as a learner and a Force Ghost, but also someone who has transcended into the Force plane known as the World Between Worlds, we can now speculate further and theorize on his role. So it's within my theory, and yes, you may be shocked to find out this is a pretty simple theory, that Yoda functions in the capacity as a teacher and a learner, not interfering or fighting anymore. After all, I believe Ahsoka will truly function as a guard in the world between worlds, as mentioned in my previous theory video. We can see Yoda already working in the role as teacher, not only within the scene with Ezra, but also with previous instances in his life. Take for example all the times Yoda also has communed as a Force ghost with Luke post-death, and even after that, when he communes with Luke to teach him of a final valuable lesson. It's within my belief that similar to how Yoda functioned as a Grand Master Jedi, he'll function similarly in the world between worlds, perhaps helping other Jedi learn the way of the Wills, or maybe perhaps even pursuing more teachings from the Wills, and maybe even more crazy, becoming a Will or a deity. But for that to happen, I truly believe this would take a millennia, transcending all the trivial Star Wars stories we've come to know and love. So guys, what do you think of this theory about Yoda's relationship with the world between worlds? Do you think Yoda is indeed existing in the world between worlds and still learning with the concurrent events in Star Wars? I certainly think so, and it will be very interesting to see Yoda's journey with the Force outside the traditional aspects and stories that we've seen him in. Guys, definitely let me know your thoughts below in the comment section. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, the Force will be with you always.